wild.
Has it settled in that you guys are going to be Olympians?
No. Not at all. We actually talked about that the other day. Like, I don't know at what point it will. Like, I don't know. It's also in the back of our heads. It's like we're so far away, and it's like one of us could get hurt. Like,
5 months is a long time.
Yeah.
A lot of competitions, a lot of training, a lot of things. Yeah. I mean, it's the reality of it. And Kristen and I were talking about it, and you kind of go through, worst case scenario and what's going to happen and what you're going to do. And I overthink. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, but if this and this and this, and Kristen looks at me and she goes, everything's going to happen exactly as it should. And she's right.
Yeah.
This is why she's the rock of the team.
It might not sink in for like a year after or something.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about Olympian is it's lifelong. So you don't have to worry about it. It's like, oh, when's that? Sorry. Got a little cough. You don't have to worry about when it's going to hit kind of thing. You know, it's like, it's a lifelong thing. So you just let it settle in whenever it wants to.
Yeah.
Be present.
Let it settle when it wants to. Yeah, I think being present has been a big key thing that we're just like, hey, we're at this tournament or we're at this place. We want to be here, but we can't even think about that yet. We still have 5 months or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Lots
Did
of tournaments.
like it hasn't sunk in that you're going to be Olympians, but when did you know that it was pretty locked?
Last weekend.
Literally last weekend.
When we found out that the World Tour Finals was a slot, so we had filled our 12 slots. And we were like, wait, what?
That exact moment.
We legit
That's
could
really
say
funny.
we qualified, and it was like, what? That was wild. I also think it sort of when we had a little meeting with just USA Volleyball, and they showed a little PowerPoint of just what things will look like there, and it was with Drew and us, and we got in the car after, and we all just sat there, and we were like, what just happened? We're like, did it just get real? It got real.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably those literally in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
What a cool moment just to have that. And like you said, still weird things can happen, but we're not going to put that out into the universe.
Yeah. It's also so funny because since then, in the past couple days, Drew will just randomly be like, y'all qualified for the Olympics. We're just
Yeah.
He's like,
good job.
exactly what
Good job.
nice work. Let's go to practice.
I love that.
Okay.
It's crazy.
Now, does that at all change how you approach a season? Because now, you don't last year, you had to be ready to peak in Doha in February, and then you had to be ready to peak and peak and peak and peak and sustain that peak for 10 months. This year, you have to peak in July, right? So does that, have you guys talked about, is that going to shift the way you prepare?
Drew Hamilton.
Just
No,
put it in
it'll
Drew's
definitely
hands?
be, it's nice to know that we can,
Oh no,
A
but I
little-
was
it's like a
saying
little
the process of when we're gonna peak or our workouts or our
Yeah.
training and that kind of thing. He's gonna do that really well.
but as far as it's nice to know we don't have to go play in every single event, and we can have a rough schedule, but if say something happens or just my butt something an injury or something is just
You're like, oh, I don't want to go for this.
yeah,
Right.
and that's kind of nice to just kind of have in the back pocket of no, we don't have to play in this tournament.
Mm-hmm. That's
But it's
awesome to
also
know.
it's also wild because we obviously have never done this, so it's is there a right way of going about how to do it? Because I feel everyone does it so differently.
That's why I'm beginning to think there is no right way, especially because every single partnership and every single athlete and every single team is just so different. And it's oh, they did this, this, and this. Who cares? Because that could not work for you. So I don't think we can base it on any prior knowledge.
Yeah.
And it's kind of okay that we don't know anything because nobody actually knows what's going to work or not.
Yeah.
I know that when we had when I worked with Carrie in 1440 for a while, I talked to her a lot about this, and Misty, and what they would do is actually what you guys somewhat accidentally just did. Is they just front loaded it, got their finishes, built their lead, so then that they could, if they needed to rest, they rested. And I think it is extra special what you guys have done, that you've clinched it this early in the most competitive American women's field ever.
Yeah.
When you think about it, because last year
Competitive.
the last quad came down to the last tournament.
Yeah, that's
it came
wild.
down to Ostrava, and I was looking at it like, wow, this is the best the American women have ever been from top to team 50, and you guys clinched it with like
Right.
7 months to go. That's unbelievable.
It's wild. But that was actually advice we had gotten about, like, you want to lock it up as soon as possible. Like, literally go play and everything. And that is what we did. And thank goodness.
No one
yeah.
told me that. My third Olympics, third whatever quad, fourth is it?
I mean, you went
Third,
for
sorry.
Rio, Tokyo, and
Can't
this
remember.
one.
Yeah, okay.
Casual.
I like to like get right to Ostrava, and they're like, you got to win the tournament or else you're
You
out.
work well under pressure.
do it,
Nice.
yeah.
There you go.
Well, I didn't do it last time,
Well,
but then I got it, and anyway, I backdoored it.
hey, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Just the way it should.
Yeah.